Joe, the college football rankings are out, and we have, I guess, our top 12. This is getting a little out of hand because, of course, it always does. Now, Joe, you and I always say when we do these segments, we just highly suggest the listeners to go and look at the top 25 rankings. But I will read it off right here in the top 12 because I'm sure this is what you and I are going to talk about. Ohio State is at number 1. Indiana at number 2. That's clearly going to be some shakeup there. Georgia's at number 3. Texas is at number 4. Texas Tech is at number 4. Oregon's at number 5. Number 6 is Ole Miss. That's key there. I think some big things happened today with Ole Miss and Charlie Weiss Jr. We'll get to that. Yep. At 7, Texas A&M. They got a rematch with Notre Dame, who is at 10. And then in 8 and 9, you have Oklahoma and Alabama. If this stays the same, that will also rematch here. Joe, at 11 and 12, you have conference champion number 4 and then conference champion number 5 at 12. So one of the G5 teams we know for a fact is going to get in. And we might have 2 G5 teams that might get into the playoff here because if Duke wins, they are not getting into the playoff. Joe, how do you react to this college football playoff ranking reaction presented by our good friends over at FanDuel?
Okay, I'm going to fire off a couple of things because I know that we're going to get stuck on the very obvious Notre Dame-Miami one. Georgia being at number 3 is extremely intriguing. I think that they're moving towards a path where they end up at the number 2 seed. I think if they win the SEC championship game and Indiana loses, I think we're easily going to see Georgia move up to number 2.
Yes.
Ole Miss moving up, they put their foot down. They drew their line in the sand. They decided not to set a very negative precedent. We didn't really talk about this, but it would have been a really dangerous precedent if they dropped them out of the rankings entirely, and it would have been really stupid if they did it. Charlie Weiss Jr. getting to go back, good on Lane for letting him do it. I think that was commendable for everyone who called him childish. No one's talking about him allowing for Charlie Weiss Jr. to go and be the OC for this game. Nobody's talking about what that means. That was a very big thing to happen here for Ole Miss, and good on him. A&M got hosed. I think that it's quite ridiculous that A&M dropped this far as they did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alabama gets the benefit from beating Auburn, and then now, actually, I got 2 more things. Vanderbilt got the most effed in this situation. They got completely cucked by Texas. They should have stayed where they should not have been dropped behind Texas. I know that Texas won the head-to-head. Vanderbilt has the better record, and they had a really good win against Tennessee this past weekend. But where this now finally comes to a full head, you and I have had this debate over and over again, and if you want to rehash it, fine. We'll just repeat all the same yelling points that we've had every single time that we've talked about it. The committee very clearly lined up and said, this is how this shit is going to go, by keeping Notre Dame at 10 and keeping Miami at 12. Miami has no shot at getting into the playoff unless something ridiculous happens over the next couple of weeks. This is an establishing point that they believe that Notre Dame gets in over Miami. This is the statement that they made. Regardless of if we agree with the logic or not, that is what Miami fans need to realize. The committee believes more in Notre Dame, who has improved over the course of the season, than Miami.
This is not at Notre Dame, but they're contradicting themselves. The committee literally at 12 has Miami. At 13, they have Texas, who beat Vanderbilt head-to-head. You contradicted yourself. You put a 3-loss team ahead of a Vanderbilt team who has a better record but has the head-to-head. Now, BYU being at 11 is a complete fucking joke. With all due respect, a complete joke. They need to be completely out of this thing. I don't want to hear it anymore. I am tired of it. They do not belong over Miami, Texas, Vanderbilt. They don't. They don't belong over USC. They don't. I don't want to hear about losses anymore, but you contradicted yourself. The committee said, we're going to put a 3-loss Texas team who, yeah, they lost to number 1, they lost to number 3, and they had a bad loss versus Florida. Okay, well, you put them over the Vanderbilt team who's 10-2, who they beat on the field. Why didn't you do it for Miami and Notre Dame?
That's the problem that I have. Forget if we agree or not on the logic here. I agree with you on that aspect. You can't have differing logic with both of those two circumstances. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't.
By that logic, Notre Dame does not belong over Miami if you're going to do that for Texas. They don't. And I am sorry to Notre Dame fans. I get it. You got to make the games matter. You are going to force people and teams and athletic directors around the country to not schedule tough games. I don't want to hear, we'll win your game. I don't want to hear it anymore because Notre Dame clearly didn't. They didn't. I don't care what week it is. I just don't care. Why would I ever care about when you go head-to-head and you have the same record? It didn't matter. Week 1 literally out here is saying it didn't matter. You talk about Notre Dame getting better. Okay, Miami got better too towards the end of the season. The last month, they also got better. You can't contradict yourself like that. It is a joke. Notre Dame has, I know you're going to be mad at this. If that is the logic that you're going to have, the number 2 criteria, number 2 is head-to-head. It doesn't say head-to-head, yeah, but if you play them in week 1. It doesn't say head-to-head, yeah, but if you play them in week 12. It says if we have common opponents with the same record and you have a head-to-head, the team that won will overcome it. So basically, I got a room. Hold on one second. I got a room of athletic directors who don't watch other teams' games. They don't. You want to know how I know? Because during all of this, Hunter Yurachek was going after Ryan Silverfield, and we literally have video of his house while massive games are going on. He didn't watch the games. So I sit here and say to myself, if the number 2 criteria is, by the way, I always have believed that Notre Dame is the better team right now. But based off the criteria and actually what happened, you can't do that.
Okay. I would like to reiterate something that I said recently over the weekend. I think that ultimately this is entire thing. The team that is getting screwed over the most is Vanderbilt. Beating Tennessee this weekend and your loss to Texas was bolstered by the fact that Texas beat Texas A&M. If anyone should have justifiably leapfrogged a bunch of teams and snuck their way into the playoff mix, it should have been Vanderbilt. I am straight up going to admit that.
Well,
they had not the most challenging SEC schedule. They had currently at the current moment no wins against top 25 teams because Tennessee is no longer Vanderbilt. It had no top 25 wins because Tennessee's not ranked anymore. To have done what they did on the road against Tennessee is respectable. I think that what we saw, the way that they played in a number of games where they won handedly, confidently, Vanderbilt proved if there's any such definition of an eye test, Vanderbilt passes it. And if we want to talk about entertainment, I mean, shit, this is one of the most talked about stories in college football is Vanderbilt. They've become a team that people nationally have just paid attention to. Who would have thought that would have happened? Blake, at the end of the day, though, and I stand by this, why Notre Dame still, if we're breaking it down to Notre Dame and Miami, which is clearly how the committee valued this, Notre Dame still belongs as the team that is ranked ahead of Miami. And I stand by my logic for this is that we cannot base our decisions solely off of a singular data point. We can't do that because when we look at the metrics and we also look at evaluating these teams, when we watch these teams play, Notre Dame has been more consistent the entire season. Miami can't lose 2 games in the middle of their year to mediocre, unranked teams. They can't lose. SMU, the whole SMU loss is really what really screwed them. SMU losing to Cal this weekend is what really screwed them. And Blake, if you disagree with me, the history of the sport says otherwise. Because in the history of the sport, we have had situations where head-to-head has not always mattered. In 1993, this is an example that's been brought up. No. Let me finish my point. In 1993, Notre Dame beat Florida State on November 13th. They were the number 1 team in the country. Notre Dame lost to Boston College the following week. The national champion that year was Florida State, who Notre Dame won in head-to-head. We have a century's worth of context of when this has happened before. Because
don't give me that Notre Dame.
Can you let me finish what I'm saying? We have a history. We have what?
Go ahead. You're finishing. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, we have a history of context of when Notre Dame has gotten screwed over before, and this has happened other times as well.
1993. We've developed our brains and our logic since 1993. Just because you did something wrong in 1993 doesn't mean you should do something wrong now. Joe, I'm sorry. You're coming in here and saying, oh, well, guys, guess what? We couldn't beat you, but SMU did on the road.
That's not how that's being framed.
It's exactly how you just said it.
It's not
exactly how you just said it. By the way,
no, it's not.
Oklahoma lost to Texas. They lost to them. What if Texas would have scheduled Rice in week 1 instead of Ohio State? It's not mattering.
They would have been ahead of Oklahoma, and Oklahoma would have been out of it.
These athletic directors are idiots. The people in the selection committee are idiots. They say, well, just because you're 9-3 and this team is 10-2 and one team challenged themselves in week 1 and lost by 7 to the number 1 team in the country, we're going to keep them out. How you're going to have to explain to me how Texas can beat Oklahoma, and because they lost to Ohio State early in the year, it doesn't benefit them. Why would any of these teams schedule non-conference opponents? Why would they do that?
Okay.
Why? You're letting a guy who has been an athletic director for Arkansas, who has literally run that fucking place into the ground, literally, over the selection committee, who's about to get fired because he sucks at his job. And he goes up there and does 6'7" like a dumbass. No, don't stop me here. No, I don't care when Notre Dame beat him or lost to him. I don't care. You cannot do that. It's not about your opinion, Joe. Opinions don't matter. Facts have got to matter. Their numbers.
But you're acting like I'm pitching some emotional take.
You screamed about letting you finish. The number 2 criteria is head-to-head, is it not?
It is, but it's not the only criteria.
But it's the number 2 criteria. And they're overpassing it because they think they know better than you. They don't. You can't keep contradicting yourself in these rankings. You can't do it. Joe, if I'm a sitting athletic director, I will never play Notre Dame again. Ever. Never. You will never see me play Notre Dame until you join a conference. I'm not doing it. And you know what else I'm not doing? I'm not going to benefit because when I play a team out of conference, look at Texas. Joe, they lost to number 1, they lost to number 3, but they beat number 8, they beat number 14. Why are they not in the middle of those teams? Do you see what I'm saying? So you lost to number 1, you lost to number 3, but you beat number 8 and you beat number 14. It's not that fucking difficult. It literally isn't. I mean, are we losing our minds here?
A little bit.
I'm pissed. This is ridiculous. Just because they have that golden dome on the side of their head doesn't mean shit.
Blake, that doesn't have any. That is not the sole reason. They're both. No, stop. I don't want to hear that. Blake, you're just saying that we're ignoring the facts, and then you're providing an emotional reason. Like that's not like a fair way to evaluate this.
The fact? Who won week 1? Fact or fiction? Who won week 1?
Hold on for a second. No, I'm not answering that question because Blake, Would you agree that? Hey, no, yeah, you're obviously right that Notre Dame lost to Miami in week 1, but you can sit here and agree with me that that's not the only way that we evaluate teams. It is a much more layered process. We can't just be that shallow and go, well, they won the head-to-head. So wait, let me ask you this. Wait, Blake, let me ask you this. If we were in a situation where this same exact thing was happening, but say Miami's losses were to Boston College and to Syracuse, would you be having the same exact argument that the head-to-head would have to trump it?
You mean exactly like Ohio State did when they came and won a national title in 2014?
I don't remember the full context of 2014.
They lost to Purdue and got to their third-string quarterback and got the number 4 seed and beat the shit out of everybody. They were thinking about.
I can't speak on that. I can't speak on that because I don't remember.
Please, I will sit here like a good boy. Look it up. Cardale Jones went in there and waxed that ass over everybody.
I remember the 2014 season.
And
I don't
then he
remember
went to Children's Hospital and beat a guy on NCAA 77-3.
What I don't remember is what the comparison was for the other teams that were in the mix. That's what I don't remember. I don't remember who Ohio State was compared to.
It doesn't matter who they're compared to. But you got to stop doing this. You got to stop. This is why, by the way, this is exactly why when we bitch and moan during the offseason about automatic qualifiers and what Tony Petitti is doing is why he is a blithering idiot.
He's a
blithering idiot.
Your example, Ohio State got in over Baylor, who was 11-1.
Oh,
and
really?
TCU, who was 11-1. So Ohio State was justified in that circumstance. They didn't have a head-to-head. Who
did they lose to?
I never said that. No, hold on. I never said Ohio State didn't lose to Purdue. They clearly lost to Purdue.
And what was Purdue that year?
They were 3-9 though, Blake. But that's not what I'm. Blake, that's not what we're talking about, though.
They lost to 3-19.
No, but I'm at Blake. I literally asked you if we were in the situation of we're comparing two teams and who deserves a final spot: Notre Dame versus Miami. And I asked you if Miami was in a situation where their two losses were to the two worst teams in their conference, would you still feel the same way that we would have to disregard their losses and value the head-to-head?
Yes, because when did the head-to-head happen, and did you beat them? Do games have to matter, yes or no?
They do, but Blake, my problem is...
Pause. People literally freaked out that Florida State, because what they went through the whole season, that they didn't get the number 4 seed, they earned it. Guess what Miami did against you? Guess what they did against you? They earned it. Regardless of when it was, regardless of when it is, they earned it.
They didn't earn it based on what they did during the regular season.
No, I'm sorry. With all due respect, just because other teams beat them, you didn't. You can't be bragging on what SMU did when you
we're not bragging. It's not bragging on what
you can't lose to SMU.
It's not bragging. It's not bragging on what SMU did. We're trying to compare and evaluate these teams. You have to beat the games on the teams on your schedule. Like, you have to beat them.
You fucking play Navy and Boston College in the last month of the season.
Who did Miami play? Who did Miami play?
You asked the same teams you did, and they beat them worse than you did.
Interesting that you bring that up because Miami had to throw a fade with 30 seconds left in order to accomplish that against Pitt.
They beat those teams better than you did. Yes or no? Yes or no? So they got a head-to-head.
Wait, you're just going to disregard what I just brought up? Notre Dame beat Syracuse by 70. And Miami beat them 38-10. Does that not get brought up?
Were they not? Yeah, they were. Oh, they beat them by 70 with a walk-on quarterback. Good for you. Good for you. You also win.
No, hold on.
One-win team.
No. Wait.
A dogfight.
You can't, Blake. You can't just alter the argument mid-argument when I brought up the fact that against Pitt, you had to throw a 30-yard touchdown pass in order to beat Pitt by a larger number than Notre Dame did. Pitt also scored a late touchdown when Notre Dame's backups were in the game.
Then don't put them in.
What?
Don't put them in. They have a head-to-head. Joe, this is what you sound like, just so you understand. They got a head-to-head over us, and they have wins over the same opponents that we do, but by bigger. And you're saying that they don't deserve to be in because my eye test told me so, and because they threw a fade with 30 seconds left.
You're disregarding the context. No, I don't sound ridiculous. You're completely disregarding the context. All the context is there, just like the Miami fans.
Here's the context. Here's the context. They lined up against Miami, and they lost. There's your context.
You understand how overly simple that argument is,
Joe.
It's too. The fact that you just have to keep repeating it proves my point,
Joe.
So many layers to this.
I'm sorry. Until you get into a conference, you don't understand what it is to be in a week in, week out battle. You've never been there. You'll never be there. You don't understand what it is. You don't understand.
The ACC's a battle? The ACC's a battle. Duke and UVA are playing each other. That's a battle?
Navy and Boston College in the last month, and you're saying that you went through challenges? Let me tell you what you didn't do. You know what else you didn't do? You didn't go through the same battles as Texas. Does Notre Dame have a win in the top 12?
They lost to 3-8 Florida, Blake. What are we doing?
And they beat number 8. They beat number 14. They played more ranked opponents than you did, and they got one more loss than you did. And by the way, here's the thing. Hold on. You know what else Texas did do? They beat a team you couldn't. So hold on. Let me finish. You have Texas and Miami who beat teams that you couldn't beat, and they're behind them. Are you fucking kidding me?
Blake, I'm actually completely out of words to say because I literally am not. I'm tired of repeating the same thing over and over again.
You can't.
It's a problem to me that you're disregarding the teams that these teams lost to. That's a problem to me. That has to be a part of the picture. You're literally just ignoring the fact that they lost to certain teams. Like, sure. Why is that just meaningless?
Certain teams, but they also beat teams that you couldn't. You're like, oh my God, they lost. Oh my God, they lost. Oh my God, you didn't win.
Blake, I'm saying that because that shit is important. Upsets happen all the time in the sport. We don't think that USF is some great team because they beat Florida. And that's been proven that upsets happen all the time in the sport.
Number 20 gets to play in the playoff, and number 6 routed their ass.
Oh, that has nothing to do with what I was just saying.
No, you said Florida. Oh, we don't think South Florida's a good team.
The point that I was trying to make is that the volatility of you can beat teams.
Ask you this question. If Texas wouldn't have played Ohio State in week 1 and they wouldn't have gotten a loss and they would have played Rice, would they have deserved to get over? Because
Texas probably, yeah, but that has nothing. Okay. That's a hypothetical. Congrats. SEC wins they win another hypothetical. Congratulations.
Hold on. You don't think Texas could beat Rice? That's not a hypothetical.
They would
on the road and challenge themselves.
I'm saying it's a situation that didn't happen.
Joe, they went on the road and challenged themselves. The 2 times that you challenged yourself this season, you lost.
I'm done arguing this. I'm out of energy to argue this. Beat the shit teams on your schedule.
Beat the teams that you actually play that are right there in the playoff with you.
To me it's more meaningful not losing to the bad teams.
It's more meaningful to not beat the bad teams, but yet the team that beat you is on the outside looking in. Sounds right.
Take pride in beating the bad teams.
Take pride in you should be winning a ranked game.
They have a win against a ranked opponent. They beat USC.
And you couldn't do what Texas could, and you couldn't beat Miami.
1-score losses to 2 teams that are in the top 12 is somehow it's the fact that that means nothing, but it also then now means nothing that you have Miami losing to unranked teams. The fact that that's just being dismissed.
We're not comparing those losses to you. You have the same record and you have a head-to-head and you lost. That is final. It's got to matter. You are setting up a precedent that is absolutely ridiculous, and you're talking about your opinion instead of what the committee should have done when they hired.
It's not.
Joe,
stop saying that this is my opinion, Blake. This is this is an argument.
Okay,
this is an argument that both sides have.
The committee. This is.
You're making it seem like I'm coming out here and just spouting emotional shit. Like I'm actually fucking pissed off.
It's not about our opinion. What did the committee say? They literally did it in the rankings, and you're not justifying that. You're not justifying it. The one thing you haven't said in any of this. The one thing you haven't said in this, why is Texas ahead of Vanderbilt? Literally right ahead of them.
I brought that up earlier.
Okay, if you're going to do that, you got to do it from Miami.
I hope this is the last time we argue about this because there's no
It's
point
not going to be.
It's
a travesty.
I'm not talking about it on Sunday. I'm telling you that right now because they're not going to move Miami up suddenly.
I'm going to bring it out of you.
Okay, let's get to this ACC championship game before we get out of here.
You know what's really weird is that now we're going to be calm during this one.